Hi everyone, welcome to TNT. It's Thursday, it's the 14th of September, and we'll start today by talking tourism. A big announcement made yesterday, reported in Khalsod English Facebook page. Visa-free travel for Chinese and Kazakh tourists will begin on September the 25th. So the surprise here is that travellers from Kazakhstan have been included in this pilot scheme for a visa waiver. In the past, travellers from China and Kazakhstan would have had to have either pre-applied for a visa or when they get to Thailand, queue up before they get to immigration and get a visa on arrival. Let's go on with this story in Thai PBS World, and the visa exemption for China and Kazakhstan nationals starts on September the 25th. And speaking after chairing his first cabinet meeting, Sita said Kazakhstan tourists were included due to the harsh winter weather in the country. Moreover, tourists from the Central Asian country have shown interest in visiting Thailand. The exemption will end in February and the government will assess the impact. So the Prime Minister in his first cabinet meeting has made this announcement. Just thought we might just have a quick check on what's been happening with trends in tourism in Thailand. A whole lot of numbers here, but this is from Wikipedia, and we start off here with 2023, and we can see there the top 10 for this year so far have been Malaysians, as we mentioned yesterday, then the Chinese, South Koreans, Indians, Russians, Vietnamese, Singaporeans, United States, Laos, and United Kingdom. Now we go back a few years, back to the last full year of tourism before the COVID pandemic, and the numbers that year showed that Chinese were by far, if you look at that, some nearly 11 million Chinese tourists, and the next most popular nationality to visit Thailand was Malaysia, with 4.2 million. Then it was Indians, South Koreans, Laos, Japanese, Russians, United States, and Singapore. And going back, 11 years, back to 2012, and in that year, again, it was Chinese, but in that year it was only 2.7 million Chinese. Then Malaysians, Japanese, Russians, South Koreans, Indians, Laos, Australians, and the UK. So we can see that the main trend over the past 11 years in Thai tourism has been the rise of tourism from our close Asian neighbours, particularly China, some 500% increase from, 11 years ago. Moving on to a problem with Koh Samui. Koh Samui Tourism seeks extended stays for European travellers amidst water crisis, and this reported in thetiger.com. And Koh Samui's tourism sector called for the government to extend for European travellers, arguing that the proposed visa-free travel for Chinese tourists will not significantly benefit the island. Chinese nationals only make up a small percentage, 10%, of the island's foreign tourist demographic. And the president of the Tourism Association says that if Thailand wishes to appeal to high-spending tourists, it should ease visa processes, ensure convenient travel, and extend the length of permitted stays. His suggestion is to increase the current 30-day stay to 60 to 90 days, targeting tourists from Europe, Israel, and Australia. So a lot of people hoping that there was going to be some announcement about the extension of the visa waivers from mostly 30 days to maybe 60 or 90 days. We haven't heard anything about that in yesterday's announcement. And more problems for Samui though, and that's the lack of a fresh water supply. The pipeline between the island and Suratani has been non-operational for months. And this is anticipated to become a critical issue with the expected influx of tourists, especially in the first quarter of 2024, which is Samui's high season. So a slightly later wet season for people in Koh Samui. I think the heaviest month for rain there is during November. But a big problem there, getting fresh water. Obviously, they're having to ferry it across at the moment in water trucks, and that can't be cheap. Thanks for watching today, and an invitation for those people that haven't already done so to subscribe to the channel. I'd be very grateful. And a big thanks to 5 Star Marine. There's a link in the description if you'd like to access that special discount. And they've been with us since day one. If you'd like to head off the island of Phuket on a bespoke VIP tour, charter trip out to the islands off Phangar. Speaking of which, a beautiful sunny day here in Phuket today. Be nice out on the water. And this man's grabbed someone's attention. This reported in ASEANnow.com. Multilingual airport security officer provides vital passenger assistance at Suvarnabhumi airport. Surely that can't be too difficult a job. But wait, an airport security officer at Suvarnabhumi airport has an impressive ability to speak 5 languages. He's come to the public's attention. And the officer, Yanapop Boomten, he's 55 years old. He speaks Thai, Japanese, Chinese, English and Korean. I can barely speak English. And despite his primary role being airport security, his multilingual skills have proven to be extremely valuable in guiding and assisting passengers. The story came to light when a TikTok user posted a clip of Yanapop communicating effortlessly with passengers in multiple languages. You'll find Yanapop at the entrance of the International Departure Terminal, Gate 3, so give him a wave and a thumbs up if you see him with his megaphone barking 5 languages at passengers. Amazing, being able to speak all those languages. Now to some serious news, and this is, I suppose, a little bit of a test of the coalition. This reported on the Calcite English Facebook page. The Prime Minister, Sept yesterday ordered the revocation of all orders made by the military junta, known as the NCPO, the National Council for Peace and Order, except where a particular related ministry is considered necessary to maintain and must be reported by October the 9th. He also ordered the 178 committees appointed by the previous cabinet to be reviewed by, should be related ministries, and to inform him which are no longer necessary. He wants to know that by September the 25th. So I'm sure he's going to get a few side eyes from his coalition partners, who were the people who put together the NCPO. So a bit of a test of strength as the new Prime Minister starts to spread his wings. Speaking of Prime Ministers, ThaiPBSWorld.com reporting a petition submitted to the Prime Minister to have Thaksin returned to prison. And a political network has filed a petition to have convicted Thaksin Shinawatra returned to prison. And the leader of the network of students and people for reform of Thailand says that Thaksin, who claimed to be gravely ill, has been in hospital for 23 days already. He said, "We and many Thai people do not believe that Thaksin was or is genuinely sick. The illness is just an excuse for him to stay outside the prison where he should have stayed. We demand that he's returned to prison immediately." Well, I would have thought that a petition based on an opinion, a medical opinion, given that he's not even a doctor, would be a bit of a hard push. And that story finishes by saying that Pitchett filed the petition at the Government House Complaints Centre. He also called for Sept to repatriate political suspects who have fled to other countries so that they can serve their jail terms. Yeah, well, good luck with that. We move to this story from the BangkokPost.com. Mafia blitz spurs gun amnesty. And the Prime Minister, Sept Thaksin, has imposed a 30-day deadline on a special amnesty offered to gun owners who lack a proper permit. Again, the new Prime Minister hitting the ground running with some firm policies. The move yesterday came as a joint team of 100 police and other officials raided 21 spots in Nakhon Pathom and seized about 16 guns and 200 bullets from a mafia-like network linked to last week's shooting of a highway police officer at a dinner party held at the home of Praween Chanklai, also known as the Kamnan Nok, a local leader and construction business operator. And Mr. Sept has assigned the Deputy PM and Interior Minister Anitin Charvitakun to form a special team to implement the month-long amnesty. Well, this is not the first gun amnesty in Thailand. I can remember at least 2 during my time here. No suggestion in this story whether they're going to be paying for people's weapons at a market price when they return them, but we'll see if we can find out those details in coming days. Now, this story also a bit about the foreign policy of the new government. Reported by voanews.com, that's the Voice of America, and experts say that Thailand's new government aims for balance amid US-China rivalry. And Thailand's new civilian coalition government may seek greater engagement with Western democracies, even as it continues to maintain ties with China forged by the previous military-led regime. Then it says that despite the military-led government in Thailand over the past 9 years, appearances suggest a pivot away from China is unlikely. And now a few opinions by some people who would describe themselves as experts in Thailand foreign policy. Firstly, Benjamin Zawacki, the author of Thailand, Shifting Ground Between the US and a Rising China, says that the incoming Per-Thai-led government will more meaningfully engage the US and other democracies. And Greg Raymond, a lecturer in Southeast Asian politics and foreign relations at the ANU, said that as a coalition government, Per-Thai may be significantly constrained from changing policies, given that two parties in their coalition were from the previous regime. He says that Per-Thai subscribes to the consensus that steering a middle course between China and the US is the most appropriate policy for Thailand. So certainly, so far, it does appear that the new government will continue to steer that middle course and both court China and the US. And to this story, good news story from ThaiPBSWorld.com. Race against time to get donor heart through rush hours and heavy rain for transplant. Every second counts was probably at the forefront of this gentleman's mind as he raced against time despite rain and heavy traffic, and he travelled from Samut Sakhon Provincial Hospital to the Sirira Hospital in Bangkok. And the heart was sealed in an icebox and hand-carried by a doctor throughout the 4-hour motorcycle dash on Monday evening. And thanks to coordination by traffic police along the route, the heart arrived at the Sirira Hospital in good condition for the transplant. And a commissioner attached to the Royal Thai Police said that the office received an urgent call at about 5:35 p.m. from traffic police under the royally sponsored Traffic Police project, seeking support in bringing a fresh human heart, which had just been harvested from a deceased donor, to the Sirira Hospital. And he said that a heart which has been removed from a body can survive for a maximum of 4 hours. It then becomes useless for transport, adding that this was the 73rd such mission undertaken by traffic police under the project. He also said that there are about 6,000 people throughout the country waiting for donor hearts, and he urged more people to donate their heart when they die to save lives by contacting the hotline 1197 of the Traffic Police Command. And there's a picture of the team as they head off, the doctor sitting at the back with that very important icebox in hand, and that's when they arrived at the Sirira Hospital 4 hours later. Well, there's no greater gift than being an organ donor, and if you're not already registered as an organ donor, I'd urge you to do so. I've got a little stamp on the front of my passport that says they can take anything they want when I die, if they deem it useful. So have a think about that, but a great news story of a quick dash to the Sirira Hospital, and hopefully the person who receives that organ will have a future and healthy life ahead of them. Thank you for watching today on TNT. Thanks to our sponsor, 5 Star Marine, and a special big thank you to you for tuning in every day, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow.